Welcome to American History Notes, where I discuss conclusions I've drawn from studying American history. Conclusions you might not agree with, you might even be offended by, but that you, at least if you have an opinion, hopefully you'll be studying American history and be noting these things and thinking about them and remembering the people and places and events that I can remember. I'm in a period of time where I remember very clearly what happened, what I saw anyway. And I do apologize. I have interstitial lung disease, and some days it's better than others. I'll cough occasionally. So, in November of 1985, Reagan met with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev in Geneva, Switzerland. And both leaders agreed to meet again to discuss arms negotiations. Reagan had referred to the Soviet Union as an evil empire in radio talks before, but the new Soviet leader proved to be a little easier to deal with. In October 1986, the two men met in Reykjavik, Iceland, but the meeting ended on a sour note when Reagan refused to give up development of his Star Wars program. In 1987, though, arms reduction talks proved more successful, and a new treaty was signed providing for the elimination of short and medium range weapons and a better verification procedure to make sure that banned missiles weren't being produced. This improved relations dramatically, and President Reagan visited the Soviet Union, speaking to citizens on television and holding the first press conference ever by an American president in that country. President Reagan made his famous Tear Down This Wall speech on June 12, 1987. Um, when Gorbachev made his second visit to the U.S. to speak before the UN, Reagan and Bush met him for lunch and photo ops, in front of the Statue of Liberty. Reagan's domestic issues included the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. The Challenger, carrying the first school teacher into space, Krista McAuliffe, exploded in midair in January 1986, killing all 7 crew members, and was instantly a national tragedy. The president postponed his annual State of the Union address, and all space flights were indefinitely put on hold. We didn't get back into manned space flight until late 1988. President Reagan signed into law the Tax Reform Act of 1986, the first overhaul of the federal tax code in 40 years. The historic bill lowered rates and simplified the code. Conflicts with Congress helped Democrats to gain control of the Senate for the first time in Reagan's presidency. Two of the president's Supreme Court nominees failed to be confirmed in 1987. Robert Bork was deemed too conservative by liberals, and Douglas Ginsburg withdrew his name after admitting to having smoked marijuana in college. Reagan settled on a less controversial judge, Arthur Kennedy, who was confirmed. Several other Reagan appointees came under fire for alleged ethical misconduct, and some faced criminal allegations. Raymond Donovan, Secretary of Labor, stood trial for illegal activities involving his construction company. Attorney General Edward Meese was investigated for misconduct in office but never charged. A close friend of Reagan, he was forced to resign. In the end, over 100 appointees of the president were alleged to be involved in some sort of illegal actions. Sort of reminds you kind of a Grant's administration just a little bit, not exactly, but just kind of brings that to mind. So we're going to continue, get to the Iran Contra scandal next, and important things to remember from the Reagan era. And I remember going to see Reagan speak at the National Federation of Independent Businesses luncheon. He was great speaker. And Sam Donaldson, the news reporter, was there, and he was clearly had contempt for Reagan. You could just see it on his face. I was sitting there staring in our direction before the speech, swinging his pocket watch around on his on a chain, and just looking just disgusted. So anyway, just remembering that. So I look forward to talking to you again, and I hope you'll study American history.